Hi, welcome to this part of my review featuring Fight to Survive. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review featuring this tabletop RPG, where you employ your martial arts to survive the mean streets of New Hope City and build a legacy, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about consequences. When a move is issued, it has the intent of causing an effect, usually to do damage. The three possible effects of a move, be it armed or unarmed combat, are ordered from most desirable to the least desirable outcome for the one issuing the move. First we have make a hit. The move does damage. Grapple, punch, and kick do this. Then we have render a move moot. The opponent's incoming move is stopped or avoided. The damage of the move is negated and you are unharmed. Block and footwork do this. Then we have that was a bad move. You provide your opponent with an opening and are hit instead. Any move can be a bad choice if you issue it when it will lose. Sometimes you have no choice but to do this, if you are otherwise out of moves. Let's talk about make a hit in more detail. The purpose of grapple, punch, and kick is to do harm to the opponent. If successful, then the proposed move will impact upon the opponent's body, inflicting 1 tick of damage or more to the opponent's health. Damage can be increased with certain training, with weapons, and some other circumstances. When it comes to rendering a move moot, block and footwork do not seek to do damage, but instead to nullify the effect of an incoming damaging move, rendering it harmless. If successful, the offensive move is no longer relevant, regardless of its force. The capability to render an incoming move moot is certainly less advantageous than doing harm to your opponent, but remember that defensive moves will stand, and could therefore be useful through a series of the opponent's moves. You also have that was a bad move, as mentioned before. A bad move is a move that automatically fails against the move being proposed, but the fighter either issued it by mistake or because they have no other moves left. When a fighter issues a bad move against an offensive move, they are immediately hit. If you respond to your opponent's move with a move that will fail according to the versus chart, it is a bad move. This is like your plan backfiring and providing your opponent an opening. If the incoming move was offensive, responding with a bad move means you are hit. If the incoming move was defensive, it is spent for the round, and you have to issue another move as well. Let's talk about taking a hit. When a fighter is hit, they take a tick of damage as explained earlier, or more than 1 tick, in a checkbox of a bracket of health. A fighter is hit in either of 2 cases. Out of moves. When a fighter is out of moves in a round, they are hit by however many offensive moves their opponent has remaining. If one fighter is out of moves and the opponent has more moves left, those moves keep coming until all moves are exhausted. This may result in a fighter getting hit 3 times or more. What to do when hit? When a player character is harmed, their player decides where to put the tick of damage on health, either to the right of a checkbox already filled, or jumping to the first checkbox of the next bracket. The first checkboxes in each bracket of health have very little lasting health effect on a fighter, although it does escalate the farther up in brackets you go. This can be eliminated later with a simple rest segment. The second and third checkboxes in each bracket of health are each more severe than the last in terms of the injury you accrue. This can only be healed during end-of-year activities, and only by giving up other things. This means that when you are hit, you must then make the choice to stay in the fight longer and take more damage, putting the tick directly right of one already filled, even to the point of grievous injury, or gamble you can get away relatively unscathed, jumping up brackets. When a hit lands, the damage that is issued is the force of the move that made the hit. Most fighters inflict 1 tick of force with each offensive move, but some have trained their moves to have greater force, or were born with a build that made 1 or 2 moves stronger. Even if you are hit for a lot of damage, you get to decide where each tick of the hit goes. deciding one tick at a time if you want the damage to go to the right of a filled-in checkbox or to jump up a bracket of health. In the case of multiple moves hitting, each move's impact should be dealt with by the victim one move at a time. If a player character has filled checkboxes in health, they are considered to have injuries. Some brackets of checkboxes indicate when they are knocked out, dying, or if the track is exceeded, dead. The fighter has lost consciousness and cannot participate in play until tended by an ally if you obtain knocked out. If you are dying, then when the current segment ends, your character dies, unless the character can be tended, which pushes it back another segment. Let's talk about alternatives to damage. Instead of doing damage on a hit, a fighter may inflict a setback. Inflict one of a few different narratively relevant circumstances on the opponent, based on the move used. There is also trouble or in trouble. At any time when you make a hit, you may forego direct damage and instead inflict a trouble on your opponent. A trouble grants a +1 move for the next round during posturing. Think of this as setting up a circumstance for later. Concerning the conditions of victory, the round continues until all participating fighters' moves are exhausted, or there's a knockout, or death. Then the fighters break, even if only to stare at each other for a brief moment. Fighters are encouraged to reassess the situation at this time and decide if they truly want to continue this pursuit of violence. Otherwise, rounds continue to best 2 out of 3, or with escalation to best 3 out of 5, until victory is established, or until the fight is abandoned. To determine who wins in a round, which is not always an easy prospect, the winner is whatever side made a hit, or if both sides made a hit, whatever side made the last hit in the round. Or if neither side was hit, the winning side is the one that does not meet the criteria for losing. Rights of victory. The defeated fighter is not entirely at the victor's mercy. There is only time and opportunity for so much. Therefore, the winner may choose one of the following options to enact upon the losing side. Cause a rift. Inflict a rift to a defeated fighter's comfort as context and sense dictates. Destroy a comfort. In a fight of best 3 out of 5 rounds only, the winner may utterly destroy a comfort of a loser. There is also escape without contest. In matches of best 3 out of 5 only, the winner may escape without risk of pursuit by any character. When it comes to gaining information, gain one piece of info. The game master must answer honestly, given what the defeated fighter knows. When it comes to inflict hardship, to cause a non-player character hardship moves them up a bracket, as non-player character hardship is only counted by the bracket. Inflicting a hardship on a player character means increasing it by +1. There is also mercy. If the winner chooses not to administer consequences for a loss, that is their right, but mercy has no mechanical advantage in Fight to Survive. Mercy is, perhaps, its own reward. Then we have punishment. The victor may also choose to issue an uncontested hit on the loser for 3 ticks of damage, or 5 ticks if armed. Effectively, damage moves up a tier. In matches of best 3 out of 5, this is more severe, at 5 ticks of damage unarmed or 8 with a weapon. When a comfort is destroyed, the bonus it had goes to the victim's hardship and revenge pool. The comfort must be chosen without the victor's knowledge of the value of that comfort. The reduction of a comfort does not always have to be a heavy roleplay experience. It could be that the loss spoils the defeated fighter's sense of connection with the world. The destruction of the comfort may not appear to go into effect until later. When it comes to the loser, the fighter who received damage last, or who was the one who instigated the conflict, usually the aggressor, but failed to do harm to their opponent, is the loser. Beyond just accepting their loss, losers have essentially 2 options. Escape. If the winner wishes to press their advantage and pursue the loser, a chase ensues. Escalate. The loser has the option to escalate the combat to a new fight of best 3 out of 5 rounds. but be warned how much more severe the penalties for loss are. After the fight is done, if you wish to engage in further violence, it must be done under other circumstances, at another time or another place. Camping out in front of someone who beat you to fight them again would be regarded as poor form in the martial world. Go away and train, or get good. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about consequences of violence. This is more on the psychological and emotional side. I really like that the moves negate each other at times. Sometimes there is this clash. In other occasions you are actually inflicting damage or putting some sort of setback on your opponent, perhaps even destroying a comfort. Now, when it comes to this exchange, it is very easy to use the included table to see which move works against what other move. I also like it how this game represents when you are running out of energy or air, or perhaps the pain is too much for a particular segment of the fight and you are out of moves. That is very dangerous. Just like in real life, in the game, you can pretty much destroy your opponent completely if that happens. Thank you for watching this part of the review, and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and see you later.